Okay, hey guys, it's Chris and I'm here to finish up my June wrap-up. And I only have 6 things left to talk about. 3 MM romances, 2 ebooks, and 1 audiobook. So we're just going to jump right into it. First off, I wanted to start off with the MM romances because I feel like I talked about them pretty quickly. First one was Thrusted and Creamed, and I know you're looking at the cover and you're looking at the title and you're just like, what? But the description sounded really interesting to me. It's about a character who was in college and had to interview a stranger for a project, and he decided to interview this guy at the Starbucks who has a lot of secrets, and also because he's attracted to the guy. And I thought the story was interesting. I thought the mystery about the guy was interesting, and when we find out what exactly he is, what he can do, he's like a shifter type character. The problem with this book was really at the end, everything wrapped up really weirdly. The main character, his dad, had some issues with him, and those kind of wrapped up without any kind of explanation, just complete 360 father, what's going on? And it was just way too quick of an ending, and that kind of tanked it for me. The next story I read was Memorandums with Derek. Another story got tanked by something, and this was by the Insta-Love. This story had so much potential, really great characters. There's an awesome lesbian character named Poindexter, who is Derek's friend. Essentially, it's following Derek, who is recently divorced from a woman. He's been in a closet for years, finally comes out, gets a divorce, and now he's back out in the world and trying to make up for lost time, essentially, because he just spent all those years in the closet when he could have not been in the closet for all those years. And it had so much potential. And then Insta-Love, when he meets this guy, and it's just a mess, and I just couldn't do it, and I didn't care about them because they were just, it melded quickly, it didn't make sense. And I think some people were saying that it makes sense once you can see the guy's whatever his drama is, and like it still didn't make sense and it just didn't work, and it bothered me a lot, so it kind of tanked the story for me. But I would totally read a story with the lesbian character Poindexter if she and her girlfriend. I would totally read just a whole book on them because she was great. I loved her. The last one, that's something I absolutely read. It was Bathhouse by Kyan Christopher. This is sort of a fan fiction, or not really. It's taking characters from a different story by Aria Grace, and it's them after the book story More Than Friends, which I haven't read yet, and I want to because I like the characters, and this story alludes to some very interesting things in their background. What I love about the story is that you have these characters going to this bathhouse, and these characters who are in a really loving relationship together, wanting to explore each other's sexual sides together, and letting each other explore, and being confident that they can do that, when it's very obviously that in the past in the relationship they were not able to do this, just from this story. And I really, really liked that kind of dynamic and seeing it, and also very, very steamy scenes. If you like steamy scenes, this was, I'm pretty sure I got this one for free or pretty close to free on Kindle, so go and check it out. I really, really enjoyed it. Definitely want to read the next Bathhouse book because we got a little hint of it at the end of this book, and it sounded really good too. So yeah, Kyan Christopher, thumbs up. Really like that story, and definitely want to read the next one. So this is Before Now and After Then by Peter Mon. This is a queer young adult story about a guy named Danny. And things I liked about this book are a lot, and there's also things I didn't like about this book. I balanced it out to being like a 3-star when I rated it on Goodreads. I wrote a ton about it on my blog. I wrote like a little paragraph about each of the characters in the book and what I thought of them. Danny's mom is probably one of the best moms that I think I've read in a book in a while. Like, I just really enjoyed her character. He has a cool gay uncle, and everyone needs a cool gay uncle, I think. And he has a good friend named Cher who he meets at the beginning of the book, and I really liked her character a lot too. As for him and his love interest, that was the thing that kind of made the book kind of go a little down for me. It felt very Insta-Love-y. I didn't really like the way the relationship was developed, and the relationship was a part of the thing. But really, this book wasn't all about that relationship. This book was about like the grieving process. Danny and his family go through something very traumatic, and it's about his grieving process, his mother's grieving process, his father's grieving process a little bit. The way it was handled was really well done. Seeing where Danny was at the beginning of the book to where he was at the end of the book was really well done. And I really, really enjoyed that a lot. But there's just some things about this book that didn't really weren't top star for me, and that's why it's a 3-star, but I definitely would still recommend people try it out. I thought it was a really good book. So yeah, and it's queer. I read more queer lit for sure. If you want, you should definitely read more queer lit. Go read more queer lit. Go read more queer lit. I don't need to say that in every video, but yeah, you should. Speaking of queer lit, Not Otherwise Specified by Hannah Moskowitz was an amazing book. It is about a black bisexual ballerina who has an eating disorder, or is in recovery from an eating disorder, I would say. So this book was a little interesting. I had to tell my parents I was reading it because anytime I read a book with a character with eating disorder, my mom wants to know just in case it triggers anything or anything like that with me. So I let her know that I was reading it before I went into. I wanted to read this book for a while, and honestly, the way that this book just showed the eating disorder was in a much better way than I've seen in other books. This was pretty like this book and A Trick of Light are two books I'd recommend that deal with eating disorders. I wouldn't necessarily recommend Winter Girls by Laurie Halse Anderson, and I'm not going to my reason for that, but this one I would recommend. You're seeing the main character. She's not past the eating disorder, but she's recovered a lot from where she was in the past. And then you have another character from her group that she works with who is still kind of in the midst of her eating disorder. And I like them showing the both sides of it and how well they showed it in the book. Some of the book deals with biphobia within the queer community. The group of lesbians that Ella hangs out with is shunning her because she was with a guy, even though she said that she was bisexual multiple times, and they're just like, if you read the book, you'll see what it is. And honestly, that was so realistic. I've seen that, and it's ridiculously dumb and frustrating. And it happens, and it's really, really dumb and really, really frustrating. So you see Ella dealing with that, and you see Ella going for this competition to try to get into this school and get out of her town and get into this art school where she wants to go to. And it was just brilliant. I really loved this book. It made me really happy. I liked her friends. I liked the side plots with her friends. And it was just really, really well done. I really enjoyed this book a lot. Also, it made me miss dancing. I miss dancing, man. I really do. But yeah, it was really nice. I really enjoyed this book. Definitely would recommend it. Probably one of my favorites from this year. So yeah, we'll see if it ends up in my top of the year list at the end of the year. We'll see. Next is a book that absolutely is in my favorite books of the year, and I listened to it on audiobook. It is Two Boys Kissing by David Levithan. This book was amazing, which you can get a guess from David Levithan. Maybe. I feel like that's pretty much a given for me, was David Levithan books, but like honestly, this book was amazing. I needed it when I read it. I read it, reading it right after what happened in Orlando, I think was just very timely for me. This book is essentially a story told from the perspective of gays who have died in the past, looking 2 generations ahead. And it follows these different groups of queer teenagers. You have a queer trans man who is gay and going on his first date with someone. You have these several characters of color. One who has recently experienced a hate crime, so you're seeing him after that. And you have this another queer character of color and his relationship, dealing with his family and not coming out, he's already out, but dealing with his family and how they deal with them and things like that. And then the main couple you follow are Henry and Craig, I believe their names were, and they are trying to break the world record for longest kiss. They are 2 teenage boys trying to break the world record for longest kiss, and each of their characters, Henry and Craig, are just very interesting. They have some different layers to their life. Their relationship is interesting, and just about their life, their family, their friends. It's all very interesting relations in this book, and I really, really like this. Also, I'm leaving a character out that I didn't mention, and because I don't want to spoil anything about what happens in his plot line, and I accidentally could. So I'm really just leaving that. There is one other character that they follow and who's really interesting. This book was just brilliant. So quotable, made me so freaking happy. It was just so good. So yeah, go and read this book or listen to the audiobook. I really liked it on audiobook. The audiobook was narrated by David Levithan. Oh my gosh, you guys, it was great. It was brilliant. It was beautiful. It was lovely. Go read this book. Go read this book. It was my favorite book of the month, and it was an audiobook, and it was my favorite read of the month by far. So go and check it out. It was amazing. Go check it out.